All righty, guys. How's everybody doing? Welcome back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. Today we are covering the tragic case of Savannah Soto and Matthew Guerra and their unborn child. This is out of San Antonio, and I believe they went missing December 22nd of this year. So this is definitely a high-profile case. Good to see everybody. Welcome in Beth, Steffa, Jari, Wanda, Doris, Christine, Beth, Donna, Christine, Wanda, Boston. Welcome in, everybody. Good to see you. Patricia. What's going on? Deborah. Yeah, Taos is a good place. I think Julia Roberts lives in Taos, actually. Okay, this is how we have it broken down today. We got the overview. It's about 4 different media clips, news clips. We'll talk about the timeline. I found a great Reddit post on that with some great links that helped out a lot. We'll give a shout out to them as well. Then we're going to talk about Ethan Soto. Ethan is Savannah's brother who was murdered before, not too long ago. And we'll see if that plays into the motive at all. That vicious cycle of revenge. We'll look at recent POIs circulating. Name Annalisa keeps coming up. See what you guys have to say about that. We'll look at the security footage of some of the people of interest they're looking for now. And we'll make some comparisons. So it looks like they're going to go ahead and they'll probably have some people arrested before too long here. What's going on, Jill? We'll take a look at the location, what that might mean between crime scene and where the victims were living and everything in between. Also, there's been a lot of reports from when they think they were murdered through Ring cameras. I don't know if you guys know anything about how that works, but they have a community page you can go to. And everybody will post, oh, did you see this? Have you seen the suspect? Did you hear these gunshots? Be careful. There's people breaking into vehicles. Here's a picture. You can go onto your local community and you can engage with people who also have Ring cameras and Ring doorbells and things like that. Well, they posted a lot of the Ring information from around the crime scene, and people were reporting gunshots. At least 2. A very quiet one, or no, a loud one, and then followed by a loud one, one that was more muffled. And we know from the press conference that one of the victims had would appear to be wounds significant with consistent with the gun being placed actually up against the head. So maybe that was why one was muffled. And also one of the victims, I believe, had to be identified. So I think the wounds might be consistent with an exit wound towards the front. So you would think the assailant would be sitting behind if they weren't moved and if they weren't staged and there wasn't anything like that going on. And I believe Matthew was found in the back of the vehicle. There's lots of rumors going around too. I'm going to do my best to avoid those rumors. We might touch on a little bit of them. And that's really all we have when it comes to the suspects or POIs or whatever you want to call them. It's all speculation here. We're not here to accuse anybody. You know, what do we know? So just keep in mind, graphic content, viewer discretion is advised. These are real life tragedies, real families, real victims. We're not here to make fun or make light. We're here to help spread the awareness and hopefully help get an arrest in this case. Then there was a report that when they entered Savannah and Matthew's, I think it's an apartment or a home. I'm not sure. If you guys could clear that up in the chat, that'd be great. They said 6,000 block, and there's apartments and homes right there. I wasn't able to pinpoint a specific location. I didn't have time for that. But when they went into the home, he had a lit candle that was there, and anybody with a Catholic background or anything similar knows what that means, especially when you're living that street lifestyle. That means something's going down. Something's going down, and somebody may lose their life. It could be an illness, it could be a beef, it could be the fact that you're getting ready to perpetrate a murder. Even you'll light a candle basically saying, God forgive me. This is me saying I believe in you, Jesus, and sorry for what I'm about to do. Basically, it's what that candle means. So we'll look into that and the significance of that, because they did talk a little bit about a murder, suicide possibility, not likely. But to me, that candle leans a lot towards that. So you could have that scenario, family coming upon that, and then maybe trying to stage the crime scene and make it look as if that's not what happened, right? So that's pretty far-fetched. But yeah, we'll see where the facts lead us. Good to see you. Anything I like? So yeah, 4 videos and a timeline off of Reddit. Let me know if you guys have any issues with the audio here.
Here's our top story at 5. Who killed them and why? San Antonio police are starting to investigate the search as they search for answers tonight. The death of a San Antonio couple and their unborn child now being called a capital murder case. Late yesterday afternoon, the 2 bodies were found in a car at a Northwest Side apartment complex. San Antonio Police Chief saying that he believes that the bodies are that of Savannah Soto and Matthew Guerra and Soto's unborn baby. KENS 5 Vanessa Croy joining us live from Public Safety Headquarters. She's been talking to police and different people all day. Vanessa, what have you learned so far?
Well, Marvin, police have confirmed today the 2 people discovered in that car had been shot. And they also confirmed another victim, Savannah Soto's unborn child. And this is not the first devastating tragedy the Soto family has had to deal with. Last year, Savannah's 15-year-old brother, Ethan, was shot and killed.
Let's start with a timeline of what we know right now.
And we are going to go a lot deeper into Ethan and kind of what that situation might mean for this case here.
Soto and Guerra were last seen leaving their apartment on Friday. The next day, she was scheduled to be induced to give birth to her baby boy. But Soto didn't show up to the hospital, and worried family members filed a missing persons report. Then on Tuesday, family members got a tip reporting where Guerra's car was parked. And that's where police discovered the bodies of an 18-year-old woman and a 22-year-old man, both found dead in that car. Chief William McManus said last night the car appears to have been there for 3 to 4 days. Today, I asked police why the couple's car was parked at that complex, but they could only tell me they're still trying to figure out if the couple has any connection at all to that location. And authorities say they still don't know if the couple was killed somewhere else and dumped at that apartment complex.
It appears to be a very complex crime scene.
It's a second tragedy to
Where have we
devastate
heard
the
that
Soto
before?
family after Savannah's
Very complex.
15-year-old brother was killed last year. According to an arrest affidavit, Ethan Soto was set up and lured away from his house, then shot and killed. Police say the accused killer, Victor Rivas, shot Ethan in retaliation for a robbery that happened the day before. Soto's mother told us Savannah was her rock that held the family together after Ethan was murdered.
There's just some things that I don't understand, you know, why some things happen that are not good. And my two kids that were not even like grown up, like young adults, didn't even get a chance.
Marvin, today I asked police if Guerra and Soto's murder was somehow in retaliation in connection to Ethan's murder and the arrest of Victor Rivas. But they could only tell me that the elements of this case were so baffling that investigators have been working around the clock to find out who's responsible, and also to give the family some answers they have been desperately searching for. For now, reporting live at police headquarters, Vanessa Croy, KENS 5.
So sad, Vanessa. The family.
Okay, so Ethan might have something to do with what happened. When you're living that lifestyle, it really is a vicious cycle of retaliation. You know, you steal from somebody or you rob somebody, then they retaliate. And then when you retaliate, it's got to be, you know, twice as bad. And then when they retaliate, it's got to be 10 times as bad. So eventually it gets to the point where you have a pregnant victim who's the baby's, you know, an innocent participant in everything, but no mercy. They show absolutely no mercy, no sympathy. And unfortunately, there's probably going to be a retaliation again. And somebody else will be answering the door to news media crews and online sleuths asking questions about what happened to their family. Welcome in, everybody. Good to see you, Speculation, Phil, She Warrior, Frederica, Lisa, Lynn. Good to see you, Cindy. What's up, Jamie Hicks? Welcome in, my friend. Kev made it. Yeah, it's very barbaric. Yeah, I feel like the world right now is like in a dark patch, you know, like everything seems so dark. I feel like we're further away from God than ever, you know, than our true purpose. And these crimes keep happening to younger and younger folks. I don't see any slowing down inside either. If anything's picking up momentum. Deborah says San Antonio is a very beautiful old town, lots of Catholicism and quite a lot of dark and light Santeria. Yeah, I'll tell you guys a story once we get to that point. You know, it was this very anecdotal story that made me think about that. Miss Mala, what's up? All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the presser.
I think most of you all have or all of you probably have the background on this case. I'll go over it again anyway, briefly. Because this is an open investigation, I'm not going to answer questions unless it's to confirm something I've just said, but I'm not going to answer questions that may get into the details of the investigation. So first of all, I want to extend condolences to the families of both Savannah and Matthew. I also want to reassure them that detectives are doing everything that they can do to solve this case. Savannah Soto and 22-year-old Matthew Guerra were reported missing by Leon Valley on 12/23/23. A clear alert was issued for Savannah by DPS because it met the criteria for a clear alert to be issued. CLEAR stands for the state's Coordinated Law Enforcement Adult Rescue Alert Program. Families of both victims reached out to SAPD on the 23rd.
All right, let's go to a comment here. Roscoe, welcome in, Roscoe. Says laugh out loud. I mean, I don't know why it's funny, but I don't think it's that deep about the candle. And maybe it's not, but it's just something that stood out to me. It's not like a big deal. Oh, man, the candle has nothing to do with nothing, man. This guy's a fucking idiot. That's you. It's just something I threw out there, something that stood out to me. Maybe you can try contributing in a similar fashion.
To make a police report, but we had learned that Leon Valley had already taken a missing person report. Savannah and Matthew resided in Leon Valley's jurisdiction, and were last seen in Leon Valley. Therefore, Leon Valley was the reporting jurisdiction. Officers did document details provided by the family members under an SAPD information report. On the 26th, at about 4 o'clock, SAPD was called to assist Leon Valley PD at 5903 Danny K. Leon Valley was requesting assistance. Families of both victims were at the location and reported Leon Valley PD that earlier in the day, they received information that the missing gray Kia Optima was at the Danny K address. When police arrived, they discovered 2 people in the Kia. EMS was called to the scene, and they pronounced.
So what'd they say about the Danny K? What was that all about? I'm going to rewind that part.
And
Sorry.
reported Leon Valley PD that earlier in the day, Leon Valley PD at 59 Valley in Leon Valley's jurisdiction, and were last seen in Leon Valley. Therefore, Leon Valley was the reporting jurisdiction. Officers did document details provided by the family members under an SAPD information report. On the 26th, at about 4 o'clock, SAPD was called to assist Leon Valley PD at 5903 Danny K. Leon Valley was requesting assistance. Families of both victims were at the location and
it's an
reported
address.
Leon Valley PD that earlier in the day, they received information that the missing gray Kia Optima
5903 Danny K
was at the Danny K address.
Okay. Lynn says, looks like an arrest today. What do you mean, Lynn? Looks like. Was there an arrest? If so, post the link, please.
When police arrived, they discovered
Or
2
somebody.
people in the Kia. EMS was called to the scene, and they pronounced both victims at the scene. It appeared that the vehicle had been located at that location for several days. The medical examiner had identified 22-year-old Matthew as one of the deceased victims in the vehicle, and he died from a gunshot wound to the head. The manner of that death is still pending. The second deceased victim has not yet been officially identified by the medical examiner. However,
Susan says, made a comment earlier. It was deleted. Don't know why. Don't know why either, Susan. I don't control YouTube. They can delete what they want as well. Maybe it was something you put in there.
However, I think we can be confident that that second victim was Savannah. This case is being investigated as a capital murder case.
What's up, Frank?
Detectives right now are combing through days of surveillance video from several different locations that the victims were known to be, where the victims were known to be. Detectives are hopeful that surveillance video will lead to the events leading up to their death. Detectives are also combing through social media and cell phone records to determine the last communications with the victims.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going to find out who did this within the next couple days. I'm almost certain of that.
We have a video here that we're going to share with you. We have already put it out on social media. You may have already seen it.
What's up,
We're
Devoted?
going to run this video here today. We are hoping that someone is able to identify the individuals that are seen in this video. If anyone has any information regarding what they may see in this video, I would ask that you call Homicide on 207-7635. You can remain anonymous. You do not have to give your name. The video was taken from a nearby location where the bodies were located. And finally, here is a slowed down image of the first person of interest getting out of the Chevy Silverado.
And we're going to go ahead and spend some more time. I did some editing on another video and some clips of that. So it's going to seem like we're going to blow right past it. We're going to come back to this security footage
That is seen next to the Kia. And then here's another, there'll be another slowed down image of the second person of interest getting out of the victim's Kia Optima. Once you've looked at the video, I will take a few questions. Again, only to clarify
up,
what
V?
I've said, if you're not quite sure about it, but I will not take questions other than what I've just talked about because the investigation is still active.
Very chaotic.
The ME said that for Matthew Guerra, it was a gunshot wound to the head, but when we called them, they said it's a contact gunshot wound. What does that mean?
It means that it was there.
So contact gunshot wound. So the gun was pressed against the victim's head.
When we talk about the manner of death has not been determined, the manner.
So what that tells me is it wasn't a murder-suicide. That piece of information leads me away from a murder-suicide and then some type of a cover-up. Because if you have a loud shot, that's probably the argument between the male victim, Matthew, and whoever the assailant was from a distance, right? You don't want to get close in that kind of a conflict. Kill him. Then you hear the loud shot, probably rings out, maybe even through the window from the outside, reaching in. And then from the inside, well, it was most likely from the back seat. And then whoever was sitting behind the female then proceeds to put the gun up against that victim. And that's why we hear a lighter sound, or we hear reports of there being a loud gunshot and then something much lighter, but still sounding like a gunshot. Welcome in Deb and Jessica, Devoted, and anybody else I'm missing. Sorry.
Meaning, was it a suicide or was it a murder? So that's what the ME has yet to officially put out.
So there's a possibility that this could be a murder-suicide.
That possibility exists, but right now we don't believe so unless we get information from the ME that would change our current course.
You don't believe so, and I wonder the callousness of all this. What is your message to the person or persons who may have committed this?
You know, somebody asked me that the other night, and I don't know what value that adds to this interview, what message I would put out. I mean, clearly, it was a heinous act.
Yeah, what do you want him to say? The fuck?
You know,
what a stupid question.
Tragedy of it.
And the thing is, I like this guy. Some of these folks that are in charge of talking to the media and the press, you know, they'll eat that kind of stuff up. Oh, you want to know what I would tell that son of a gun, that son of a bitch? You know, this guy's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I got an investigation to conduct. What are your questions? Like, what do you, like, what is, yeah.
I mean, what message would I give?
He's like, what are you talking
to those
about, dude?
folks. I mean, I don't see what the value of that question is, but anyway.
He's
And
like,
just
you're
to
dumb.
clarify, you are treating this as a homicide for both people?
It is a capital murder investigation.
For both victims?
Yes, right now, unless we get information that changes that.
And Chief, when was this surveillance video? Is this one from the 26th?
Say it again?
Where and when?
I think the hardest part for this is when you really think about how the child died. So, you know, the mother was obviously shot and killed in that fashion. That means the baby just eventually suffocated and just starved and didn't get any more oxygen slowly. So the first real memory for that poor baby is complete and utter terror.
When was this surveillance video taken?
A few days before
Yeah.
Days
the
before.
bodies were discovered.
And where was this? What's the address of this area?
Where what?
Near where the
What's that?
bodies
Where's is this where the bodies were discovered?
Very close to it,
Very
yes.
close to it.
I do see, I believe he is handing something to the driver of the pickup truck. Do we know anything about that?
I mean, that's what we're looking at. What we believe right now, it was something to wipe the side of the car down with. You know, we can't be 100% certain of that, but that's what we're studying in this video, and that's what we believe right now.
Not sure,
And do we
Sharon.
believe that these people may have any links of some sort? Do we know what links they have to
I
victims?
don't know that. And again, would be part of the investigation.
We'll take a
So
look,
just to
Deborah.
be clear, the vehicle, the Kia Optima, that's the vehicle that they were found in.
Yes.
But the person that's getting out of the vehicle, you're saying out of the Kia Optima, is there
Thanks, Shay.
somebody that gets out of that vehicle that you're trying
Yes.
to?
Yes.
And you don't believe
Thank you, Renee.
it to be either Matthew or?
No.
Okay.
So
Correct.
do you all believe that they were shot, the killings happened somewhere else and they drove the car and dumped it in the
Well,
parking lot?
You know, again, I don't want to get into the details other than what I've talked about here today. So the answer to that question would be yes. But other than that, again,
I feel like they don't want to let the timeline out. They want to hear a timeline from a suspect. Like they have a timeline and they don't want that to be put out there yet.
yeah, I'm not going to answer questions that are outside of what I just talked about.
So in this video, do you think that they're dead or alive?
Pardon?
In this video, do you think they're dead or alive?
Again, I'm
He
not
thinks
going to
they're
get
dead,
into
of
that.
course.
And then one other question, the day of the crime scene, you called it perplexing. Now you've learned a couple more details. Can you go into why?
Did he say perplexing or complex? Shout out to Renee gifting somebody, some lucky viewer, with a Sleuth Intuition membership. Thanks, Renee.
you use that word?
Because it was unknown at the time. I mean, we had been there
What's up,
not
Brad?
very long at all,
What's up, Big Bird?
and it was undetermined at
Big Bird, you missed the giveaway the other day. We picked your name and you weren't there. But we might do another spin. There's an unclaimed prize. So that person must not be interested in communicating. So we'll give them another day or two, and then maybe on New Year's we'll do another one spin giveaway.
that time, whether we were going to be looking at it as a murder
What's
suicide
going on, Brad?
or as a capital murder investigation. So I think we've kind of gotten past that point right now, unless we get evidence that would lead us to believe otherwise, but I think we're past that point right now.
One more question.
One more question.
How many days exactly?
I like that
I
reporter.
don't know exactly, but they'd been there for a few days, I'll say.
So what took you so long to find the car if the car was parked there for several days?
What took us so long to find it?
Yeah, that's a good
The
question.
car was parked over there for like several days.
Nobody came across that car.
Yeah, but why not? Why did nobody come across the car? When you see the map, it's literally like right up the street. There's only so many apartment complexes around that area, and that's one of them. We know in the Benjamin Anderson case out where I'm at here in Phoenix, even his friends knew to go do that. They went and checked all of the apartment complexes, hotels, and they actually ran into his vehicle. So this is a really good question, and he seems to get irritated by it because he probably asked his folks the same question. So he seems to be reliving that whatever frustration he had been throwing around one of them back rooms previously. So I think he gets it. I think he's upset. And I think it's a fair question. Why didn't you find it? It's within a 3-mile radius, sitting in a parking lot alone by itself. Yeah, great question. Man. Like, did you even look? All right, let's go to this security footage. This will be one that I pulled directly off the internet, and then I clipped it, and I edited a small part of it. That way we can zoom in and try to see if we can share a closer picture of the suspect here, who is most likely assisting the real killers, right? So we need to know that this happens in other cases. So when you see these brutal murders, there's a good chance that something like this is happening right after. Some kind of exchange, some kind of call for help. You know, this looks like a father figure, angry, knowing what they're being dragged into, telling them what to do. You need to wipe down the car. You need to do this. You need to do that. He's wiping off his fingerprints. And then this person gets out of the car. He's like, no, idiot, get back in the car. If you get out of the car, you're going to be seen. I know I'll be seen, but I'll keep my mouth shut. But yeah, they probably have this guy in the interrogation room right now. I mean, you can't hide that gut. All you need to do is match this gut to this Chevy and to anybody that orbits these two victims. So yeah, I'm fairly certain they've ID'd this person. And it looks like this person's wearing a hat. Maybe backwards baseball cap with a flat brim or flat bill and large lettering or design on the front. This person seems to be telling them, no, get back in. Don't step out of the vehicle. Okay, here. Let's go to my video real quick. Frederica says, this is a horror. I pray to God they catch them quickly. Yeah, anybody that can do this, it's not their first time and it's not their last. Good Girl Gone Rich says, I think the candle still being lit in the apartment when they weren't present says a lot. Yeah, it almost seems as if somebody that knew about it or participated or maybe had prior knowledge that they were deceased entered in and put that there. And I'm not sure if it was still lit. That's the thing. At some point, I think we're going to read an article where they discuss the details about the candle. But I mean, look at the gut on this guy. I mean, it looks like he almost has to carry it. Okay, now notice how the lights are off, right? You're only seeing the brake lights. And hopefully they can try to figure out this license plate number, but I'm pretty sure they know who this is. This is amateur hour here. Lights off. Meet me right here. And I don't know if this is the same apartments. Does anybody know that? If you're watching right now, or if you're part of the replay, I'll leave a comment. But if you are watching, let me know if this security, the CCTV footage, is from the same apartment complex where they found the vehicle and Savannah and Matthew. Positive Vibe says, does look very like a dad or uncle coming out of that Chevy. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Here, let me grab some stills. Before we go to some stills, this is from John Paul Barajas, and he's from KSAT News. It's just like 10 seconds, but this is an altercation, or the family basically arriving on scene. They haven't identified, they haven't let anybody really go through, and police haven't really investigated, but word got out, and apparently this is the family on scene just before they were able to identify the victims. And this is a video that was posted to Twitter by John Paul Barajas, and he's from KSAT News. Let's take a look. Now notice right off the bat, they're just arguing.
I was trying to fucking fight, nigga! Chill the fuck out! Not the fucking time!
So they're already arguing and fighting down there. And I get it, but what's with that language and that behavior? Street shit. I think that's Matthew's brother right there. And I think some folks are trying to accuse him too. Let's go to a super chat from Cindy Lean. What's up, Cindy? Thanks for covering this one. I'm behind. Yeah, me too. I've been seeing it circulate, and I said, man, we're going to spend some time on this case. This is strange. Especially when the CCTV footage started coming out. And then I caught a little bit of JLR. He went to the... I don't think it wasn't the funeral. It was a memorial, I think. And he caught a photo of somebody who was in the audience there. We're going to look at that. So they're accusing this guy. And the only thing I could say is he does have a hat, a backwards hat with a white emblem on it. And I just noticed that. Hold on. But why would he hurt his own brother? You know, it's stupid. But he's been injecting himself into the case, I guess, going live on like social media and talking about it and stuff. So I don't know. That is a little suspicious. But then again, you're supposed to be suspicious right after a relative passes away. I'm more looking for the ones who aren't acting suspicious. But I just want to take a clip of this hat. Not accusing you, bro. Just want to check it out. I promise. Okay, so watch that little clip from John Paul Barajas, KSAT News. Kind of give us some inside perspective here, what was going on, what the atmosphere was.
I was trying to fucking fight, nigga! Chill the fuck out!
Mike, these guys are already ready to retaliate. You know, they already know what they got to do. All right, so let me pull that security footage back up. I just wanted to show you guys that. So I'd be curious to know if his brother has any relation to the big belly. That looks a little different. Maybe. It's definitely a backwards hat. Seems to be some cascading going on. Let's take a little clip of that. Sorry, I didn't mean to do this. I'm just super curious right now. It's probably nothing, but I just wanted to compare it. Sorry, guys, for the no audio, but here we go. I don't know, guys. I think I might be seeing the shape of a bee here. Think I'm gonna have to work on that video. You can kind of see it right here. Now, remember, when he's moving, he's going in this direction. So you're going to have kind of a blurry motion. So I don't know. That'll be something that I look at privately. But what do you guys think? You can kind of see the bee here and then it cascading right here again. The only thing I'm not seeing is this bottom part. Unless it's behind something right here, like a jacket. Oh, well. Don't want to get too caught up on that. Okay, let's pull up this Reddit timeline. There was a couple that I found online, but this was definitely the best. It was by Public Exchange One. Yeah, there's a lot of rumors going on about POIs and certain people who are being arrested and who were arrested the day before, and there might be some snitching going on. So we'll see where that all leads. Ellen Kelly says the police said that both were shot behind their ears, their right ears. Queen of Ossian. Welcome in. Yeah, I like that, Chief. Jessica says, I just met the mayor of Leon Valley at a funeral, and she's a lovely lady. I hope they said the killer or killer. Oh, they find the killers ASAP. A nice city, San Antonio, surrounds it. Sorry. This world is getting worse, or is it just me? No, I'm right there with you. It seems like this darkness is kind of starting to cover the globe. So you guys got to do your own personal part, spread a little happiness and positivity. Never know. Positive vibes. I hope they get justice as well. What was the child's name? Fabian? If anything, for Fabian. I don't know much about the other victims. Seems like they were leading a risky life. But I mean, that baby didn't definitely, not that they deserve anything. I don't want to victim bash or, victim shame or anything like that. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just saying at the very, very end of the day, the fact that this unborn child who was past his due date, he was ready to come out and see the world. So he's in there listening, wondering, what's going on out there. I don't hear my mother. I don't hear my father. And I can't breathe. Like, where am I? Who brought me here to this exact moment in time? Apparently 2 angry gunmen. Yeah, and the baby could hear those shots. Could hear everything. Might not have been able to truly understand, but definitely knew it wasn't good. All right. So I pulled this from Reddit by Public Exchange One, titled "The Devastating Christmas Timeline of the Savannah Soto Case." This thing is packed with links. I think this is where I found that Twitter link for John Paul right here. There's a couple more I didn't have time to get to. Let's start with Friday, December 22nd. Savannah Soto was last seen around 2 p.m. with boyfriend Matthew Guerra at an apartment complex where they lived in the 6,000 block of Grissom Road in Leon Valley. Let's take a look at that. Whoop. Didn't mean to zoom out there. So 600 Grissom Road, Leon Valley. Now that leads you right between some townhomes, some homes, and an apartment complex. So I'm assuming they lived in this apartment complex. Now, both their bodies were discovered in their own vehicle. I believe that was a Kia Metro. I could be mistaken. I think it was a Kia. So 3 miles away from their home. So whoever did this lives nearby, in my opinion. Kalinas at Medical Apartments. It's a weird name. But I believe they were found right back here where this vehicle is parked. Or maybe even back here. I'm not exactly sure. But I'm pretty sure it's right here. Somewhere. So, I mean, that isn't far at all. Okay, they were reported to be in a gray 2013 Kia Optima. A car later identified as belonging to Guerra Soto was pregnant with her first child, who she planned to name Fabian, family members said. Family members called Leon Valley Police to request that they visit Soto's apartment to conduct a welfare check. Police said they went to the apartment, saw no signs of forced entry, and determined there were no grounds for concern. Following day on December 23rd, Soto is supposed to check in at Stone Oak Methodist Hospital at 6:30 a.m. so the doctors could induce labor. She does not show up. After waiting 2 hours, Soto's mother, Gloria Cordova, posts a message to Facebook pleading for help in finding her daughter. So I believe she was a week overdue or something like that. And that could have something to do with the candle or just the fact that they were missing. A family member could have entered the home and did that. I'm not sure. I don't want to focus too much on that because I've only seen it in one article, and we'll get to that. If you see her, please reach out to me and let me know where you've seen her. I'm worried about her safety. Prayers for my baby girl. Saturday through Monday, December 23rd through the 25th. Soto's family members spend the weekend at Christmas Day searching the Grissom Road apartment complex for signs of Soto and put up missing persons posters. Monday, December 25th, the Texas Department of Public Safety issues a coordinated law enforcement adult rescue clear. That's what they call it, a clear alert. For Soto. Tuesday, December 26th. Shortly after 4 p.m., 2 people are found dead in Guerra's Kia, which is parked at an apartment complex in the 5900 block of Danny K. Drive, about 3 miles from where the couple were last seen. And I just showed you guys that on the screen there through Google Maps, where the couple was last seen. Family members are heard sobbing as San Antonio Police Chief William McManus arrives at the scene and briefs them on discovery. So we got to look at that through John Paul's video where they were getting emotional. Tempers were starting to flare. And I'm sure that's because you could see Matthew's family there, well, at least his brother, and then probably the family members of Soto. McManus tells reporters that although the bodies have not been positively identified, we believe they are those of Soto and Guerra. He said the bodies may have been in the car for 3 or 4 days. Wednesday, December 27th. The San Antonio Police Department describes the case as capital murder and lists 3 victims as 18-year-old Hispanic woman, 22-year-old Hispanic man, and an unborn child deceased. In the terse statement released Wednesday morning, SAPD says the man and woman found in the car both suffered gunshot wounds. The medical examiner's office will conduct a death investigation to determine the cause of death and confirmation of the victim's identity. The investigation remains ongoing, the statement said. Police offer no details as to a motive for the killings or possible suspects, and they did not mention any links as well. Yeah, I think we've already covered this. Oh, let's finish this part here. On Wednesday night, SAPD issues an update saying the medical examiner has positively identified the 22-year-old Hispanic man as Matthew Guerra. We are still awaiting positive identification for the female victim, the statement says. Also Wednesday, Guerra's family takes to social media to denounce rumors that they were involved in the couple's disappearance and death. Soto's family has said Guerra had a history of abusing Soto. Earlier this year, Guerra pleaded guilty to a charge of domestic violence causing bodily injury in connection with an assault on Soto on Christmas Day 2022. Guerra was still on probation for the assault at the time of his and Soto's death, Thursday, December 28th, which was yesterday. The Bexar County Medical Examiner confirms that Soto was the 18-year-old woman found in the car and that both she and Guerra were killed by gunshots to the head. In Guerra's case, it was a contact gunshot wound, indicating that the muzzle of the firearm was held directly against the head. And we did talk about that briefly. Let's catch up on the chat here. Shay, the difficult part of this investigation is that they were high-risk victims in a high-risk area. Yeah, when you're living that lifestyle, you don't live by normal laws. Like, you're not thinking about the Constitution. You're not thinking about politics. Well, you're thinking about politics, but not in the traditional sense. Like, there's plenty of politics in street life, but not in the way you think. They're not worried about cops. They're not worried about anything. They know going to jail is just part of the deal. You know, when you're in that lifestyle, you grow up knowing eventually you will be in jail. And that's the reason that prison gangs ever became a thing, because eventually everybody who's living that street life has to go into those jail cells. So yeah, they're living a very risky life. But I don't know if this has anything to do with their lifestyle. Maybe it has to do with a domestic issue. Retaliation comes in many forms, right? It doesn't have to be related to the street. Okay, so let's move on over to Ethan Soto. And this might go to the motive and what may have led to this incident. I think we'll start with the first article that I found. This was from latestbollyholly.com, written by Narendra Rajal. It was posted just 2 days ago. Who was Ethan Soto? Savannah Soto's brother. The murder case. Looks like that's Ethan there. In a heartbreaking turn of events, the search for 18-year-old Savannah Nicole Soto takes a tragic twist as the San Antonio Police Department announces the discovery of 2 lifeless bodies inside a car in Texas. Missing since Friday, Soto, who was past her estimated delivery date, had become the focus of an urgent search by her distraught family and law enforcement on the outskirts of San Antonio. The grim revelation adds a devastating layer to the narrative, leaving a community in shock as they grapple with the news of the young pregnant teen and her boyfriend found deceased. Savannah Soto's narrative is interwoven with a poignant tale of family tragedy, most notably marked by an untimely death of her brother Ethan Soto at the tender age of 15 in 2022. Growing up in San Antonio, Savannah shared her formative years with Ethan, and the siblings undoubtedly forged a bond that transcended the ordinary. The heartbreaking reputation of the statement that Ethan was shot and killed at just 15 years old in 2022 echoes the profound loss that shadowed Savannah's upbringing. While the public domain currently offers limited insights into the details of Ethan's life, the reputation of his tragic fate underscores the enduring impact of his absence on the Soto family. The scarcity of information about other siblings and family dynamics only adds to the veil of mystery surrounding Savannah's background, heightening the sense of tragedy that envelops her story. In the midst of this heart-wrenching narrative, one constant shines through: Savannah's Hispanic roots. Though the specifics of her family background remain elusive, the cultural thread of her Hispanic heritage becomes a significant facet of her identity. It serves as a reminder of the diverse tapestry that weaves through the lives of individuals, offering a glimpse into the rich cultural mosaic that shapes their experiences. As the search for Savannah unfolds, the shadows of loss and uncertainty loom large, compounded by the tragedy of a brother lost too soon. The intricacies of her family story, obscured by the pain of past events and layers of complexity to the narrative, transforming it into a deeply personal and emotionally charged journey for Savannah and those who yearn for her safe return. Ethan Soto's murder case. The chilling details of Ethan Soto's murder case unfold a tragic narrative of revenge and violence and led to the untimely death of a 15-year-old boy in San Antonio. Victor Nathaniel Rivas, 17, now stands accused of murder, with the arrest shedding light on a complex sequence of events driven by alleged revenge for a drug robbery. Catch up on the chat real quick. Yeah, that is a good question. Good Girl Gone Rich says they never asked pertinent questions like what was the estimated time of death, which is well, I don't think they would have answered that question. I don't think they want to provide details on the timeline. They gave specific instructions like, don't ask me questions about anything I didn't bring up. And I think the timeline is something they don't want to talk about yet. What do we know about who reported the car? That is a great question. Who reported seeing it there? I'm hearing rumors that possibly a family member found it and then reported it. I'm not quite sure. What are all the injuries to the victims? Pants down, possible mutilation. So there are rumors that there was some torture that happened. But I don't want to touch too much on that because it's not official, and I don't want to spread that kind of information, especially when it's just that gruesome. But yeah, we could be dealing with something much worse than what's being reported now, 100%. Despite Soto's mother attempting to resolve the situation by paying for the stolen items, Rivas orchestrated a deceitful plan involving an underage girl to lure Soto into an ambush on May 16th. The fatal shooting occurred, resulting in Soto's tragic demise. The arrest warrant affidavit outlines the disturbing chain of events, revealing Rivas' calculated efforts to avenge the perceived injustice. The affidavit highlights a prior shooting incident where Rivas targeted Soto's family home, escalating the conflict. Manipulating social media, Rivas collaborated with the juvenile girl to set up a drug deal as a guise to confront Soto. The ambush unfolded near Soto's home, where he was fatally shot multiple times. I wonder if that's what happened in this case. Post-shooting, Rivas allegedly fabricated a car theft to divert suspicion, abandoning his vehicle, an identifiable gold Jaguar with a red hood. However, a thorough investigation included phone records and witness accounts exposed the intricate web of deception. Rivas' involvement was further confirmed through cell phone data, pinpointing his presence at the crime scene and the location where he ditched the vehicle. The Ethan Soto murder case serves as a tragic reminder of the consequences that can arise from a cycle of retaliation and escalating violence. Yeah, and it's perpetual. It'll never end, unfortunately. The details painted in the affidavit expose the sinister plot that resulted in the loss of a young life, prompting reflection on the complexities of crime, retribution, and the devastating aftermath that leaves families shattered and communities grappling with the harsh realities of such incidents. Now, check out this insane video. This is the Soto family beating up the accused killer in the middle of his court hearing. Like, they can't even stop him. Wow, that sounds like a taser. Crazy, right? So I don't know why they're circling that. I don't know if that's Savannah or what. I can't tell. There's a shot of this person being walked out at the end in handcuffs, and they have her circled in this video. I wonder if that is Savannah. Right there. Does anybody know if that's her? So apparently her brother robbed this gentleman. This gentleman set up her brother, murdered him. Now they're attacking him in court. Who's to say that now they're not going to come attack them? Squeaky Will says they were already dead when the video was taken. I agree. So where were they? Are they sitting in the vehicle too? I know that the car seat was laid on top of Savannah, and Matthew was in the back seat, most likely laying down. So I can kind of understand if the car was parked there for a while. It was kind of away from the homes, and anybody that might just be glancing over would see this car seat, and they wouldn't expect it to be on top of a person. So yeah, that was wild. Oh, that's crazy. I didn't even think about that, Jessica. It would have been his birthday. It's very tragic. I mean, it's one of those things you just can't really wrap your head around. Every part of it is horrible. How it all, and we don't really have a whole lot of details. But just from the outside looking in and what we think might have happened, just relating to a violent atmosphere, you know? Okay, let's check out a quick local news report on the murder of Ethan.
Is now jailed. On May 16th, when officers responded to a shooting in the 2100 block of Alston Street on the city's northwest side, there they found Ethan Soto lying in the street, shot multiple times. But now the suspected shooter, identified by police as 17-year-old Victor Rivas, is behind bars. He was arrested last week and charged with murder.
Now let's bring in KENS 5 reporter Vanessa Croy. She joins us live from SAPD headquarters.
That's right. And Vanessa, detectives say social media actually played an important part in this case.
Well, that's right, Henry and Audrey. Investigators told us that in many times people think that when they delete a message on a social media app that it's gone forever. But in this case, it's what cracked the case. Those deleted Instagram messages leading investigators straight to Victor Rivas, who's now facing murder charges.
Our cameras caught the sound of gunshots just before 3 p.m. on May 16th. That's when officers found 15-year-old Ethan Soto lying in a pool of blood near his Northwest Side home. Soto later died at the hospital. The shooting now turning into a murder investigation. According to an arrest affidavit, detectives recovered Instagram messages and were able to piece together how Victor Rivas planned the ambush killing of Soto. They say Rivas got a teenage girl to contact Soto on the social media app, luring Soto into selling her drugs. And when the alleged deal was about to go down, it was Rivas who was waiting for Soto. Police later figured out that the brazen murder was in retaliation after Soto had stolen drugs from Rivas the day before. Investigators say they got a warrant for Rivas's Instagram account and found messages from Rivas to another user saying he was going to catch the person who robbed him. They also discovered threatening messages Rivas sent to Soto. An hour after the shooting, Rivas sent a message to another user that he had to ditch the car. Police say they later found out Rivas had reported his car stolen 2 hours after the ambush. Through other messages on Rivas's Instagram, investigators discovered that he had bought a semi-automatic gun from another Instagram user and then posted photos of the gun on his page. Detectives believe that Rivas got the girl to lure Soto away from his house, waited for him to leave, and shot the 15-year-old. It's unclear what charges the other teen will face, though police are calling her an accomplice.
Scandalous. Scandalous. Let's go to some comments here. Ellen Kelly, neighbors heard screaming at their apartment for help and stated that they were forced into a Cadillac. Where'd you hear that at? What's the source for that piece of information? Okay, so I think we're going to move from Ethan. Let's take a look at some of these photos. And then we're going to go over to some of these people of interest. And there was about two folks that were mentioned. We'll take a look at them. So this might have been a memorial for Ethan. Yeah, and I'm not seeing any bullet holes anywhere in the vehicle. Jeff H says, did you see Bullhorn Betty had identified a guy that got that very distinct belly? Yeah, a lot of people have identified him. I think everybody has. We're going to talk about that guy. It's my honest opinion that how can you not? Yeah, we're going to get into that right now. Thanks for bringing it up. Deborah Loveless says, a good reason for YouTube crime channels to share, make, and models. You may find it in your apartment parking lot. Yeah, exactly. Keep your eyes open. What's up, GP? Squeaky says our Optima may have been hidden for 2 or 4 days. Easy to do in a private garage at a residence. The cops know when that car was left just from this video alone, date, time, stamp removed by the cops. Yeah, they don't want to give that information. You know, they want to keep it very vague. They're waiting for somebody on social media to come along and correct them. You know, law enforcement's lying, or they're not telling you, or this is what really happened. Oh, okay. And I think that that's already happened. Whoever did this, I don't think they're going to get very far. Good girl gone rich. I can't imagine what kind of person could drive around with dead bodies in a vehicle. Just sick. Yeah, you got to be one cold-blooded son of a gun, or extremely desperate, and you may not have a choice. Remember the Ellen Greenberg case? Her boyfriend, who was the prime suspect, called 911 and they said, "Sir, can you go ahead and give her CPR?" He says, "Do I have to?" So sometimes I think at that point it's just about not getting busted, playing a character role. But if your loved one just died, who says that? Do I have to give them CPR? I think the better question is, why haven't you already been giving them CPR? Okay, so this should give us an idea of where the actual location is. So I think I was right. It was in that back corner, because we can see the smaller homes just in front of the vehicle. And we haven't heard if they found blood in the vehicle, if any of the victims were armed. Was there any shell casings found in the car? Do they believe that do they believe that they were killed inside the car? Do they believe that they were killed at another location, put in the car, and then left? Is that why they put the car seat on her, so that when they were driving, you couldn't see how brutal the wound was? But then again, why not just put him in the trunk of the car? So, I mean, none of it really makes any sense right now. And I think law enforcement and investigators are creating that atmosphere on purpose. They're waiting for the right details to come out on social media, I think. Wait, is this window busted out? Look. Or is that some kind of weird reflection? Oh, no, that must just be it pushed up against the tent. You see that? It looks like somebody's hand pushed it up out of the way. And it's inside the door. Because I know in Texas you can have, I don't think they have any tent laws. Or they're very mild. Yeah, it's psychotic is what it is, GP. These people are madmen. It's madness. Speculation says, I think they were wiping the car and taking the gun. That's what I think too. Wiping the gun, wiping the vehicle, wiping the gun, and then also giving advice. And whoever dropped off that vehicle I mean, I'm assuming when they got out of that vehicle, they got into that truck, right? Yeah, I mean, you've never seen a shorter, big man. I mean, the dude looks like he's 5'3", and his gut sticks out the same as tall as he is. That's how wide he is. All right. Show me somebody who is in that family or connected to any one of those families or in that circle that drives a black truck and has a huge belly like that. Can't be that hard, guys. Okay, let's take a look at these Ring reports here. Now, these were posted to the Ring community. So when you're looking at these Ring maps, they're going to have Savannah and Matthew's home right at the center or marked on each one. Okay. So this is where they were found. This is where the report of the shots came out, and it says 6 gunshots. So they heard 6. There was also a report of a drive-by in that area. So who knows? Maybe it was an accident and then a suicide. I lost the image, but one of these Ring doorbells, the guy says he caught it all on tape that there was a drive-by that happened. So I'm wondering if maybe it was an accident and then a suicide. You know what I mean? Like I just accidentally shot my girlfriend, my pregnant girlfriend. I can't live with myself. You know, wonder if something like that could have happened. And then that's what got the family involved. Let's see here. Anyone else hear a bunch of gunfire about 5 minutes ago near the Lindsay Place neighborhood? So they're reporting it here. The report's coming out of this area, and this is where the vehicle is eventually found. Then again, we have a report coming out over here, just on the other side of the 10. And this would be their location. And this one's much closer. Reports coming out near the 410. Anyone else hear about 4 gunshots just right now? Sounded super close from where I am. All right, so the report was coming out of this location. This is where they were found. Did anyone hear a loud gunshot near Tizell and Silent Oaks? Happened out 9:40, and another quieter bang at 9:43. And here's the last one that I grabbed. There's a lot more. So looks like came out of this area, and this is where the bodies were found. Anyone hear 3 gunshots on Babcock Street, Cloud area at 6:15. Crazy. Okay, let's go back to the big guy. The suspect, the primary suspect. I mean, that thing is, I don't know. How do you describe that? It's a lot of beer. Just wondering what his cholesterol must be like. That's when you know you're getting old. When you see a belly like that and you start thinking about a guy's cholesterol. Yikes. Oh, wait, you're saying there's a second person in Cindy Hudson says second person in the truck tosses the towel on the seat. I wonder if that's mom. Mom and dad, or mom and stepdad, or mom and mom's boyfriend. And this was the first photo that was shared with me. Was this gentleman here. Let's do a comparison. Oh. There we go. So this is a name that keeps getting tossed around. What is her name? Annalisa. I guess this is her. That's her mother. I'm not sure who this gentleman is. But this is the guy that's been circulating. So we don't want to accuse him or anything like that. But I mean, and apparently he drives a black truck. So this dude's short as shit. He has a magnificently huge belly and little arms and long hair. And it almost appears that's what's going on here. Here's his back. So not quite sure if I'm sure they're already talking to this gentleman. Now, the person, Annalisa, apparently was fighting with Savannah and Matthew. They were having a back and forth. And they believe that she could be involved in this case. And when I say they, I'm not referring to investigators. I'm referring to the online community. As of right now, that's the main person that everybody's talking about. So I'm wondering if this woman is the one that threw over the towel here. You know, she called mom like, I can't believe what I did. I had to do it. You know, we did it. You know, we did it for such and such. I need help. So I don't know. This looks very suspicious here. And then there's some other ring type footage going around where they're saying this is Annalisa's boyfriend, I believe. And this will be from her neighbor. And they actually talk about Savannah and they talk about them being murdered. And we'll kind of turn up the volume and see if we can hear what they're talking about. They might even talk about somebody snitching, or I'm not quite sure. I haven't had a chance to analyze it really. So let me go back. So this gentleman looks like he's been sitting there for a while. Not sure what he has in his hand. It looks like maybe an iPad. Now, both these guys coming up the stairs, the guy in green is supposedly the boyfriend of this Annalisa person. And I want you guys to notice that both these men coming up the stairs are armed. And I'm assuming that so is he. See that little purse looking thing? That's really a holster there. He says, you didn't recognize me? He says, nah, I didn't. He said that Savannah B and her dude. And he says his phone is blowing up over it. Okay, so you can see he has a Glock. Let me go back. He has a Glock in his hoodie. You can see the top of it there. And he was reaching for it. You can see it kind of, and actually it might be a Beretta. It's kind of rounded on the end. But you can see he has a gun and he had his hands in his hoodie when he came up. And I want you to pay attention to this guy's right side. He has a large firearm here in an elevated holster. So let me see if we can hear what they say coming up the stairs. He said something about shooting his shit. I didn't even get to shoot my shit. So look at the guy back here. Look at his right hand. I want you to notice his right hand. See his right hand? You see that? Look, he's ready to pop this dude if he does anything. He's got his hand on his pistol. And then he covers it. You see that? Right there. You don't know what's going on. He's got his hand on the gun. Like, what's this guy doing? Covers it, daps him. So these are definitely some street kids right here. Who they just have it on them, you know. It's not, they're ready to go. So I don't know if this is related. I don't know if this Annalisa has anything to do with it. I don't know if these gentlemen have anything to do with anything. But I mean, they're coming up the stairs. They're talking about how they were murdered and things like that. And I believe this video might even be dated before they found their bodies. Let me see if I have anything to support that. Okay, let's see here. So they went missing on the 22nd. Do you guys know when they were discovered? This video was from the 26th. And it looks like the owner of that video posted the date. And here you can see the gentleman sitting down. So that would have been Tuesday around 6:20. And I'm wondering if this is a family member of Soto who suspects these gentlemen. Maybe trying to fill them out even. But I think this case is going to be solved fairly quickly. But that is going to be all the time we have today, guys. Catch up on the chat and then we'll bounce. If you're part of the replay crew, you have any questions, just leave a comment here. Oh, let's go to Squeaky Will. Not only is the fat guy obese, he's also short. Yeah, he's short and fat. How do you guys miss this? I'm telling you, law enforcement know who this guy is, and it's probably the gentleman that we just pulled up on the screen. Oh, that reminds me, I didn't show. JLR posted something on his channel today. Let's take a look. So here's that guy. He almost looks like the same guy we just showed, but with all his facial hair shaved, clean shaven. Let's see what he's JLR Investigate said here. I was at Savannah Soto's vigil and I watched the video. Man, I really want to give JLR props. He was literally, because we all know that these killers will come to a memorial, to a funeral. Sometimes they can't resist injecting themselves, you know? So for him to go around that audience like that, I was really pleased with that. I said here, I was at Savannah Soto's vigil today in San Antonio, Texas. Some dude showed up that looks similar to the person of interest police are looking for. What do you think? Yeah, I think it's pretty close. I wish we would have got his whole body, because I can't tell how tall he is, but he looks short. His knees are right here. So I'm not quite sure. But that is all I had for you guys. We'll wait patiently for any updates and keep you guys posted if there's anything that comes out or if there's any changes with the case. We'll follow it the best that we can. Good to see you, Cindy. Alan Kelly, welcome in. No, it's not their apartment. Okay. Thank you, Alan. Good girl gone rich. Yes. The dad and stepmom said they kicked the door down, that there was a candle still lit. I had that information. I don't know. Did I cover it and just kind of skip over it? Because I had that information. But yeah, let me finish this comment here. Kicked the door down and there was a candle still lit and the baby bag was left in the apartment. That seems like they got lured from their apartment. And why would the candle still be lit? I mean, it's almost like a timer, right? Susan says, guy with the gut looks like he has facial hair also. Yeah, facial hair and long hair. Let's pull that back up, that video. We'll play this as we get out of here. It is the same apartment from where they were found. Thank you, Steph. Okay, now what is this guy doing? The slowed down version will play here in a second. Let's stop here for a second. Alan Kelly, this is the third time I've heard this. Apparently, somebody that lived nearby reported seeing them forced into a vehicle. Alan Kelly says, I think they were forced from their apartment by at least 2 other people. All right. So we're going to zoom in and slow it down here. We have a super chat from Cindy. Thank you, Cindy, for sponsoring today's live stream. You rock. Thanks for covering this one. I'm behind. Well, you're part of the replay crew. So yeah, it looks like he has some facial hair. He's got a towel in his hand. Okay, look, it looks like the towel just comes out of nowhere. Crazy. All right, guys. If you could hit the like button on the way out. If you're usually not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and hit that bell icon. We stay busy around here. And if you are subscribed, consider becoming a member. We stay super busy in members only. So I want to thank everybody who caught the live stream. Shout out to you. Bigger shout out to all of you who participated in the live chat. Thank you. And who were helping me along the way, figuring out the story, trying to stay as accurate as possible. Yeah, it seems like they're already in some kind of a war. It's a good question. Who is the guy yelling? Vigil. There you go. That's the word I was looking for. Speculation says somebody in the neighborhood has to know what happened. They were all talking about it on someone's footage. And on social media too. I'm part of a Facebook group, and it's a discussion group, and there's a lot on there, and a lot of people that knew the victims are on there, and they're pretty much going at each other's throats. It's not pretty. Ellen Kelly says, I'm shocked that the neighbors that heard her screaming for help didn't call police. Yeah, when you live in the ghetto, though, you kind of hear that all the time. Like, it's kind of sad, but, you know, you hear babies crying, you hear screaming, you hear fighting, you know. And then usually when you call the cops, nothing really happens. And then those people will just begin to target you. All right, let's go to a couple more, and then we're going to get on out. Thanks again, everybody. What's up, Anthony? Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you, Joey. CJK. Let's go to Tracy Faulkner. The meters in the complex where the bodies were found are mounted on the side of the buildings. The video of the truck and car, the meters are mounted away from the building. Thank you. We're going to get it right. I know it. Eventually. Let's go to Janice Place. Welcome, Janice. It seems the big guy is checking to be sure the job is done or done correctly. I think he might, if it's who we think it is, he might just be protecting a young, naive maniac of a relative, right? Living la vida loca. Black Chevy truck. Nothing special about it. Looks stock. No custom rims, no lift kit, just your standard Chevy truck. Come on, guys. Chevy truck, big belly, short guy. This can't be that hard. I think the truck was a Chevy Silverado. This Chevy could be anything between a 2009 and probably a 2021. But to me, it looks like anywhere between a 2009 and a 2014. Maybe not that old. The front looks a little squared off. I haven't spent that much time with the video. But once again, thank you guys. If you could please hit the like button on the way out, and I'll catch you on the next one. Let's pray for justice for Savannah Soto and Matthew Guerra and that poor baby. Have a good night, guys.